know. He's produced a number of poets here in Pasadena. He and I are currently collaborating on a CD called Infinite Possibilities that should be ready by mid-May. Just got one more track to finish up. So, right. Yes. At 23, he dove into a drain, feverishly pressing 13. That floor not to be, know what I mean? Among wailing voices, sirens, Penelope screams, frantically fashioning a speech for the USC football team to rival what Martin Luther King could sing, dying to connect, drawing his line in the sand, his square foot of space, his king's X. Nothing could exceed his ego's reach, will on fire with manic flair. If only he could translate his spirit and get there, just get there. He'd need his elixir of navy blue, Smirnoff 100 proof and Red Bull, poured over ice stacked high in a double cup, nice and full. Everybody is here to play, wants to be made, needs to get laid. It's just an extraordinary madness at the end of the day. An extraordinary madness we all share along the way. Inhaling super long pulls like it could recover one's breath. Excited on the verge of agitated, riding the edge of death. Pumping up on true, singing hooty-hoo. Getting higher than the eye could see. He was at heaven's gate and had somehow been granted the key. But heaven could wait, he still had a play to make. For glory and immortality's sake. Only it was that easy to earn the right to sacrifice for history. When it is learned that it is earned through a rite of passage that is mystery, that wisdom would take years to acquire. Now he was inflamed in immediacy and urgency emerging on fire. His hair unwashed, spiked wild and untamed, rose blonde, descending looking like dancing flames. Everybody is here to play, wants to be made, needs to get laid. It's just an extraordinary madness at the end of the day, an extraordinary madness we all share along the way. He wanted eyeliner, wore paint, mama's red silk panties, wearing his black gold monogram robe, otherwise naked. This anticipated ritual of war exchange was booming from his heart and sacred, though he wanted it to be real, something that others would remember and feel. He needed a camera crew. Maybe mama could get a hold of John Singleton. Oh, right. Thankfully, there was at least a decade before the iPhone in 1984 sight. It was November 1999, and this was how he was getting down. A football god to be like Vince Lombardi or Jim Brown. Just as Prince had predicted it, it was time to start partying, ready to challenge the Trojan team to a game of bull in the ring. Man, this was a serious thing, a furious scene. If it was a cartoon, his nostrils would be releasing steam. Everybody's here to play, wants to be made, needs to get laid. It's just an extraordinary madness at the end of the day, an extraordinary madness we all share along the way. He had his daddy's oarsman back, massive, rocky slab, beat-beating lats, and psychotic like that. Well, hell, every bet would have paid back on the fact that with a shoulder and forearm blast, he could cream a cruising Cadillac in his tracks, let alone contact with any of the linebacker safeties and backs, and linemen, no matter how powerful, muscular, fat, and fast, and he just said frenetically, go ahead and let them wear pads. He just needed mama's Victoria's Secret. Imagine that. Woo! Now that's bad. His mom promised to meet his demands. This drew him in closer and kept him in a trance. Things weren't what they seemed. His mom was like a Pied Piper. In this dream, he thought he's a predator, more like a baby rabbit within reach of a venomous viper. Everybody's here to play. Wants to be made, needs to get lay. It's just an extraordinary madness at the end of the day. An extraordinary madness we all share along the way. His mother carried him in the promise of glory that would be translated ultimately in this story. Luring him into her car, he thought they were headed to USC. Ironically, she landed him into UCLA's psych ward, hospitality. He was a player, an actor, up for improvisation, spontaneity. Kept stepping into the act, wildly, brand new to full-blown insanity. He didn't know how the hell to express what was wrong within him. Lines blurred as he threatened to trample the sacred flirting with sin. Psychotic, paradoxical association of flying through his mind fast, like fight the power, and I need help, and I don't know how to ask. He wanted it all, and he wanted it now. But he didn't know how to bring it about. He really didn't know how. One thing he would earn by being burned would be to learn the language of pain. For a mania as a steady dame is hardly to be trusted as a faithful flame. Everybody is here to play. Wants to be made, needs to get laid. It's just an extraordinary madness at the end of the day. An extraordinary madness we all share along the way. But do you know it? What's your madness? Thank you. I'm all pumped up with that, Barry. Shoot. It's like a trance, Barry. Thank you, Barry. Thank y'all for listening so intently, guys. Oh, I'm going to take a breath after that. A little transition here. The next one's called Keep Hope Alive. Hope precedes all forms of spiritual projection. Hope is the beginning and essence of optimism. Hope is a gentle, nurturing breath of flame to sustain. Hope is the belief in freedom when shackled in chains. Hope dares against great odds and adversity to believe. Hope exists and persists and yet does not insist to receive. Hope is the mist of magic, a whisper, the conception of groan. Hope is where great bravery, faith, devotion, and loyalty are grown. Hope is innocent, unassuming, light of fluttering feather, it floats, flies. Hope is a wind whirling into the fallen ear. Get on up, man, it's time to rise. Hope is belief in the unseen, a blind love of life, the devout dream within a dream. Hope is a grief-stricken romantic, resilient enough to continue to bear love's beam. Recalling life I defied, dark nights desolate and alone I cried. As I strived to survive amidst a terrible fear life was just a lie, summoning all my spirit and strength, I began to rise and thrive. When I believed in myself, I am here to testify, keep hope alive. If one has the audacity to have hope, one can drive that fear, that bully, and begin to finally give us a chance to live life more fully. Hope is the lightest of all resiliencies one can muster, fatigued and tired. Yes, hope begins in trepidation, a beggar baby stepping through wildfire. But if one has the courage and integrity to protect hope in the face of derisive laughter, like giving an onion to a beggar, they may find themselves secured in the hereafter. Discovering the kingdom of God within, serenity and all of mankind's beauty to see, dignity, inherent mystery, rightful place in history, carried within the blue whale's primordial memory. Hope shall be like that ticket home, that return that man seeks in his quest to find his life redeemed. And the loss, stigma, alienation, and humiliation will be alchemized from nightmare to whimsical dream. Each man and woman through individual rite of passage shall reclaim their place within the community, wondering at the isolation process of individuation, knowing they owe it first to hope and recovering unity. Recalling life, I defied dark nights, desolate and alone I cried as I strived to survive amidst a terrible fear life was just a lie. Summoning all my spirit and strength, I began to rise and thrive when I believed in myself. I'm here to testify, keep hope alive. Hope is the most fragile strength, an hourglass in a hurricane that will not shatter. Hope is a rebel beating its chest in a riot, facing the machine, professing every soul matters. Hope knows enough to employ faith and love and support and family and humility. Hope is the center, the committed correction, the progressive direction, the core of any viable recovery. Hope is the thirst that carries the fatigue through the midnight desert to dawn's ice-cold water in the hot morning. Hope is the grateful shield of vulnerability that rebuffs any conservative precautions or overly cautious warning. Hope is the gaze into sunlight needing nothing but a warm ray upon the cheek. Hope is the observance of the divine and all of the universe. Mustard seed, the strong, weak, aggressive, the meek. Hope is that mental and willing linkage to the future. Call it a bridge. Hope is the curiosity and the anticipation of attaining wisdom, the requisite knowledge. Hope is the first singer of the chorus and guiding the audience through any complex divine comedy or drama. Hope is the first angel that will greet and visit one on their road to recovery from any initial trauma. Recalling life, I defied dark nights, desolate and alone I cried as I strived to survive amidst a terrible fear life was just a lie. Summoning all my spirit and strength, I began to rise and thrive when I believed in myself. I'm here to testify, keep hope alive. This one, for technical reasons, you don't have the backing track to it. So this is just going to be straight up, just vocals. It's called Beast of Shade, and it was based on an intimate experience with a prospective poetry mentor.
What's the title?
Beast of Shade. Yes.
Shade.
Yeah, Beast of Shade. Yes. So this is the last one I'll read right here. But this is also on Infinite Possibilities, and Barry did a wonderful job with this one as well on the CD. So. Okay. Anticipation of the shade beast drummed up my rolling heartbeat. Looking in every dark corner and occupied space, the beast had yet to be seen, but still its heavy spirit filled the place. As I scanned the pistachio-painted walls, shadows danced from ceiling to hall, until the great mass of being sauntered in wearing black and gray New Balance shoes. Shaking his afro curly locks, he flashed his teeth and smiled under a blazing full pearl moon, shining through thick glass pane windows as they reflected hipster lamps on beatnik study tables, carved to craft and scarred by use like the fashioning of every generation's fables. I had protected my best work from sight like precious treasure until I could gauge the instrument being applied to measure. The shade beast sat large and tall on his storm cloud couch seat by the violet restroom door. I could sense the challenge to mine and drill deeper the core to bear more and more. Lured by the seduction of praise, false flattery riddled me like mocking machine gun fire in the streets. Not inclined to save myself from this power that be, I took my shots, nodding to agreed, sensing I was barely being given license to breathe. Put my shirt back on, covered my chest in tattoos, my heart still on its sleeve. My authenticity was being called out of the gutter, the closet, ghostly glossy archive sheets. I leaned in to engage in closer eye contact, ready to sear in the icy heat. The room grew darker, and the still point was set. My soul became a psychic net, ready to risk it all on my passion, integrity, my posy bet. The left eye of the shade beast glistened with white light, like an open window, generous to let wisdom fly and be born. Knowledge nourishing, transmitted like milk. though much had been splattered across the midnight sky after the roof on fire had been lifted and torn. With Herculean might, wisdom was being funneled as it pulsated down my throat. Knowledge one must consume and aspiring to be like Ali the GOAT. Aristotle politics in full throttle like the hunchback of Notre Dame, ready to commit an outlandish act of bravery to secure beauty and be its credit and fame. I kept silent about the cathedrals I helped build and painted over blood-stained bricks. Never disclosed that my offering of flowers were a capture from Christ having rained them down once to forgive the sick. Hooked, shook, I rose from the exchange, dazed and stunned. The night was still early, though already the shade beast had won. Okay.